Yes, sir. Okay, folks, like I told you, today we will be discussing some basic practices that are involved in cocoa transplanting, in Liberia. And here today we will be speaking to one of the hard-working men in the cocoa sector in Liberia. His name is
Ali Kamara.
Ali Kamara. Ali Kamara, how do you see this job?
This job is beautiful, do fine.
Job is fine.
Carrying fine.
So how many cocoa you can normally put in this top to carry it to?
I can put 15.
15 cocoa. But why you can't put more than 15?
For the top.
For the top. And two, you think when you put more than 15?
I'm not able to put my head.
Thank you. You're not able to put it on your head. Thank you so much. Okay. When did you establish this nursery?
The nursery.
February.
We started February.
February.
Yeah.
And the nursery have grown so big like this. So about how many thousand here you think that is on the nursery?
The nursery, I think that 2,000.
200,000.
200,000.
Yeah, 200,000.
Yes.
Approximately 200,000. And you can see how big the nursery is, just like we lack the main force or the working force rather. And you listen to Mr. Ali very well. He said normally in Liberia when they are transplanting cocoa, they transplant the cocoa normally when the rain is steady, and that begins around the month of June because of the climate change in Liberia. So you can see him, he's so tired, so exhausted. See him, see what he's doing. He's putting the cocoa into the top. He's putting this cocoa into the top. See it. And like I told you, in the practice, you have to be very careful as to how you remove the cocoa from the ground to avoid the root being damaged, to also avoid the plastic bag being spoiled. You see it? They are all into polythene bags. And he's busy. He's been hauling this cocoa on his head since this morning. He have hauled close to 250. And he assuring me that he will haul more than this because he had to do this to make sure that his job is completed before the rain season goes away. So you can see it here. He just completed, and he will be helping himself up with this top. See the kind of a labor constraint that is going through here because of the lack of manpower in Liberia, most especially around this street, to work in the cocoa sector. This farm, like I said, is owned by one of our brothers in America, Chester Sefa. He's in the US and he's the sponsor of this identical work. He's the owner of this farm. See how this guy is hard working. See it? He just put it on his head and he's coming with it, and he moved with it until to where they will be transplanting. So you can see him, he's moving. Very hard working brother. So we will discuss all of the agronomic practices to you, and you can use this as a working tool, you that want to get involved in the cocoa in Liberia. See the nursery. See it? And whenever you establish in the nursery, make sure you establish a side or water source. You see this water? Because this will help you to have it irrigated very easy during the dry season time. And this was the water that was used to irrigate this identical entire nursery. No longer at the nursery site, Mr. Ali and myself, we are now to the transplanting field. See this line? This line is very long. It's about something like 200 to 300 meter long. So you can see it. This is used as a baseline, and when the baseline is run, you see that you use it very carefully to make sure that everything is straight up. And you see after they run the baseline is all the way up there, and they begin the marking from the down part of the baseline. You observe after that they started to insert the cocoa in the hole. See this? See this cocoa that is already placed into the hole, and after placing it, the next thing you do is the pegging. See this? I will display them to you one by one. Like I said, we will follow all of the basic agronomic practices, and I will show you how we dig the hole here in Liberia, because my planting in Africa is done differently due to the climate conditions. And you see the soil is a soil that is very rich. This is what was transplanted today on the baseline. You see it? And you see this is already pegged. They planted this this morning. They just pegged it. They planted this as well. See how beautiful it is. It was inserted in this hole today, and you see it. They have planted a little over 300 cocoa seedling today. Just today, 3 persons have planted a little over 300 cocoa seedlings. That is very beautiful. So we have a lot of them to be transplanted into this lowland, and this lowland is very huge. See it is something like 25 plus acres, 25 to 30 plus acres of land that is within this lowland in Liberia here. And we are optimistic that any movement from now after the transplanting, we will maintain the underbrushing in this lowland to avoid the weed taking over. And this is the pangolin I was talking about. You can see this pangolin. It is both sided. See it? This was sent from the United States of America by Mr. Chester Sefa, and this is the one that is usually used to carry on the digging of the hole. See how beautiful it is. You have 2 sides, and after you use it, okay, see this other brother who is responsible for the digging of the hole. See him? He's Mr. Andrew Newman. You see him? Mr. Andrew, how do you see this work?
Thank God, boss man, the work is okay.
Okay, so let me see you digging the hole. Okay, this is the finger ring that you normally use to dig the hole. And you see the finger ring, like I said, is about 1 foot long. And after he get this, he have a little cutlass in his hand, or stick rather, that is used to remove the soil from within the finger ring. And he will dig this hole for about 1 foot deep. You see it? He have gone to, and you see the entire finger ring head is lost. Turn it around, and he remove it again gently, and he's hard working. So I want to say thank you to them for this hard job. Thank you for affording us the opportunity to have this documentary done here in Liberia. So Mr. Yuma, how do you see this work?
Thank you very much, boss man. The work is okay.
The work is okay.
Yes.
So about how many holes you dug today?
300.
About 300 holes have been dug by 3 persons. That is very quite welcoming. And this is another strong brother here also. He's Mr. Seku. Good afternoon, Mr. Seku. Good afternoon. So, Mr. Seku, how do you see this job here? The job is okay. Anyway, thank you for the job. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the transplanting site. You see this brother in front of us. He's there marking the point that are to be dug with hole. You can see somebody with the elephant king. Due to some material that are lacking, we normally use the elephant king, cut it 10 feet apart. And this brother in front is just responsible to clean the site that is to be dug by those individuals who are using the finger ring. And he's Mr. Palmer. He's also another hard-working father here, I must admit, and they are the brain behind the success of this work. See him? He's a typical African man, and by the way, he's Kisiba tribe, and they are noted for being very strong in West Africa, particularly this part of West Africa known as Liberia. And they are predominantly found in Lofa County around the Foya district, and they are here on a contract basis. And he continued to remove the dirt, clean the site. See how well he cleaned this. And here a hole will be dug right here. He continued to do this, and when this is done, this was already clear. You can see the side that was brushed. This was already brushed, but the transplanting now is ongoing, and after the transplanting, we will be spraying this elephant grass with some herbicides, because these grasses are very fast in growing. So keep following as we keep providing you some basic information here. Well, folks, my name is Thomas F. Yame. I am here today to discuss cocoa transplanting in Liberia, particularly this northwestern part of Liberia, which happens to be my own district. And I am going to provide to you some basic agronomic practices that are to be followed when you are transplanting cocoa. You know, cocoa is a very important crop, most especially to we the West African, because we observe that this crop, it has some economic value. Its lifespan is about 50 good years according to researchers. And it was on that backdrop we decided to have some of it transplanted here on our farm. And I will display to you those basic jobs that are done before you can have the cocoa transplanted. You have the nursery that is to be laid out first. After laying out the nursery, you get to your field and you use your finger ring. We have a finger ring. Look here. Just look at this hole, how deep it is. This hole was dug some few hours ago. And when you dig the hole, make sure the soil, the topsoil is placed one side and the soil that is beneath the topsoil is placed another side, because the topsoil contains more nutrients. And whenever you put the plant into the hole, you make sure you put the topsoil first before you can put the soil that you took from beneath later, because that topsoil will serve as a means of supporting the plant. So look at this hole. Look at it gently. It's about 1 foot deep. And after you dig the hole for this length, you make sure you get to the plant. Observe it. Just observe it as I explained to you some basic practices. But normally the planting distance of this plant is about 3 meters by 3 meters, which is approximately 10 feet apart. So for us, we use the 10-foot planting distance. Look at this tree. This was planted some few months ago. Just like for this, we did not follow the agronomic practice because it was done locally. But had it not been so, it would have been planted. But look at it, look how beautiful it is. And after this, you come here, you see that the holes have been dug all over. Just look at the depth of this other hole again. See it. See the depth of this hole. See the depth of this hole. And see another cocoa tree here again. And if I am not mistaken, we have close to a little over 125,000 to be planted here. And normally cocoa is planted in Liberia around the rainy season, and the rainy season starts in Liberia around October 16. But due to some climate change, we normally don't transplant in April, because around April in Liberia, the area is always hot and dry. So we usually start the transplanting of this identical crop in Liberia when we are in the month of June, July, August to September. See this also, how beautiful it is. Sorry for the poor quality of my camera.